Hello. Today I will show you my outgoings project. I'm using Glassfish as an application server, and I'm using Oracle database Express Edition as the database, and I'm using NetBeans to develop my project outgoings. First, let's start with Glassfish. I have installed JDBC connection pools, as you can see here, pool name, resource type, and I have added additional properties as the URL to let it show the database, driver class, password, user, and server name. Then, after we have created JDBC connection pools, we have to create JDBC resources. Well, let's talk about this JDBC resource. We choose the pool name that we have created in the JDBC connection pools, and we hit save. That's for the JDBC and how to import our data from the database, the connection from Glassfish to the database. Now we have to create also the security for the login and password encryption and the roles. We go to server config, security, realms. To have created realm, real name Bob, GIS context JDBC realm, GND user table. That's my database table that contains the list of users, the column, the password column, and the group table that contains the groups for this realm. The column is description, and I have chosen password encryption algorithm that is SHA 256. So let's talk now about the database. In our database, those are the tables for the login and the passwords and everything about the login. We have two tables, groups, and it has a column name, description, and group ID. The second table for the login is users, that has user ID, name, password, description. Well, and those are the tables for my project outgoings. We have here the products table, and here the members table, and here the outgoings for each member. Well, in my project, there will be one admin that has that will create the groups and the users and everything else like products, members, and outgoings. And there is one user that can creates only products, members, and outgoings. And this user is different from the members. That means this user will create the members in this project and will enter the data of each member. Now let's talk about the project. Well, in my project, I have created entities like groups, members, outgoings, products, users, and I have created JSF for each entity and the login page. And in my web.xml, I have created the login configuration that is form. I give it the path, the real name, and I have created security roles like admin, as I've said, an admin to create the groups here and the users, as we can see in the security constraints. And we have a role name that is user that will not have the ability to go to users and to create users and list users and to create groups and list groups. As you can see here, there is one and only web resource collection and the security constraint. Well, in my project, I have made the Glassfish to run automatically on my Windows startup. So let's go to, that is the bookmark of my project. Well, this is the login page. We have here in my Oracle database, let's take a user that has a group name user. It is Bob, user ID 535. Let's take 535, hit the password, and here we are in our project. As you can see here, the group name is user, so Bob won't be able to access those two pages, groups and users. Groups and users. But he has the ability to access products and create product, edit, view, delete, and members, create member, create, edit, delete. And in this member page, we have a link in the take action column that shows the outgoings of each correspondent member ID. Let's go to the outgoing of Bob Kairouz. We have one transaction, transaction date, quantity, total, product ID, and the member ID. If you want to create another transaction for this member, we hit create, and as we can see, the member ID is the same because it is the transaction of the correspondent member ID, and it is an input text, a read-only input text. Can change the value. Let's go to view outgoings of the user 5, and as we can see, create member ID will be 5. Okay, let's sign out, and let's go to a different user that has a group name admin. Admin, we have the user ID 536. 536, password, Bob as I member. Okay, this user is an admin, so he can access groups, create groups, view groups, and edit and delete, and users, create user, delete, and view. Let's create another user to see how our password it is encrypted. Let's take 537, name Joe, and the password is Bob or Joe. Let's take Joe to have different passwords. It is a user, I will take it a user. And when we hit save, the password is Joe and it will be encrypted. That's all. We can sign out now. And this is my outgoings project. Thank you for listening and seeing our project.